truly believe everybody will love Brussels sprouts once they've cooked them right once. I have already received thousands of comments on my original Brussels sprout video about people trying this method for the first time and never going back. But today, we're taking it to a whole new level. Brussels sprouts 2.0. Now let's go! You're obviously gonna need these sprouts. Now, the first thing I can teach you about these sprouts is to not take too much off the bottom. Meaning what? Well, let me mess one up first to demonstrate. Most people do this, right? And when you do that, when you take that much off the bottom, you'll screw up the next step, which is blanching. And what will happen is all these leaves will fall off in the water because they're no longer attached to the bottom, right? You don't want that. So here's what we do. We just take the tiniest little sliver off. Look, that is how much I took off. Now, a couple of those really outer leaves might fall off, but that's good because they're old anyway. But you're left with this, which is all really good eats, right? From there, you just slice it in half. And that's all she wrote for the prep. Don't worry about that. That bottom part is all good eats. You don't need to throw it away. Again, from a different angle so you can really see how little I'm taking off of these sprouts. That is the amount you want to aim for, my sweet friends. Next step, the blanching. Boiling water. Season your water. Yes, you can season water. Kosher salt going in. I'll measure that all out for you in the description. In with the sprouts. And we're gonna do these for about 6-7 minutes. And what I can tell you about this is it's counterintuitive, but by blanching them, they will get crispier on the next step. And not only that, the salt is gonna permeate the flesh of the sprout, giving it a nice even seasoning throughout. Shut up, oven! Also, I'll fridge you, I will fridge you. Also, I find when you just bake sprouts without blanching them, they become like chewy in a way that is not nice for me. Like they're just hard to get down. These get an incredible, totally different texture. You have to try them just like everybody else who already has. Now, because we cut those Brussels sprouts properly, you might see a few leaves floating on top like this one, but you're not gonna have a huge mess of leaves, right? That is correct. Strainer on the sink, and we'll dump our sprouts nice and carefully. Now, you know steam is super hot. It's one of the most dangerous things in the kitchen. Now have a sheet pan ready here and immediately get them out because they will keep steaming there. Spread them out a little bit so they don't keep cooking. If you keep things stacked that are really hot like that, they create a ton of heat, in this case steam heat, and they will definitely overcook. Another pot over here, adding white sugar and water. We are starting 3 of the most incredible garnishes. These are gonna be fancy, okay? Fancy. Turn that on. Okay, our sugar syrup has come to a simmer. Now we're gonna drop in our pecans, or whatever you say, and we're gonna simmer them in this syrup for about 20 minutes. We are on our way right now, if you're wondering, to the best candied nuts imaginable, and you're never gonna believe the next step. I'll just tell you, it's deep frying them, and it's awesome. Okay, after 20 minutes, your nuts are like coated in this syrup. I do have a more in-depth tutorial on this in the corner if you wanna learn. Now, just drop these onto some parchment paper, and again, spread them out really well so they don't all clump together. Now we'll just let these cool down to room temp for about 20 minutes. Another pot on over here, and we are gonna make some balsamic reduction, which is a cool one to know about if you've never done it. It's actually very simple. Just put your balsamic into a pot like that. Turn it on about medium heat, even a little under medium. You don't want the flames licking up over the side of the pot. It'll make a mess. So just keep that heat a little lower. And we're gonna begin reducing this balsamic by maybe a little more than half. We'll then cool it down to room temp, and it'll be like a delicious sweet and sour syrupy kind of sauce that has a kind of consistency and thickness that'll stick to a plate, but we don't wanna over-reduce it. Over-reduced balsamic is the most amateur thing ever, okay? I just have some trauma around reduced balsamic, so I haven't made this in actually 13 years. But here we are. Trauma resolved. Now, while that balsamic is reducing, here's a fun little trick you can try with your friends. Although, disclaimer, probably don't do this. Just straight up, don't do it. And what you do is just take a nice whiff. It's really terrible. You should do it. Don't do it. Hey, Mom. Hello? Oh, yeah, they're incredible. You should use them. Yeah, but you need to have them in that case or they won't charge. Yeah, if it's green, they're charged. You got it? You sure? Okay, let me know if you have any problems. All right, love you, Mom. Okay, bye. Now, when your balsamic's been reducing for about 10 minutes or by 50%, you want to test it. And we do that by just taking a little on a spoon and dropping it onto a plate, which will let cool to room temp. Now, you can tell if that's done by running your finger through it. And if it doesn't fall back on itself, meaning you can see the line you drew your finger through, then you're good. I'm happy with that, so we're gonna go ahead and remove it all from the pot. Now, Parmigiano Reggiano. And you can see here it's stamped. It says Parmigiano Reggiano. That's the good stuff. Now we're making our next incredible garnish, Parmesan crisp. So I'm gonna take a nice big hunk of that, and all we're gonna do with this Parmesan is just grate it up on a microplane or a fine cheese grater like this. If you don't have this grater, just use the finest setting of your box grater and it will still work, but these are preferred. Now we're gonna take a sheet pan here with some parchment paper on top, and to keep this really clean, I'm gonna take a funnel right in the middle of that ring mold. I'm gonna drop in my Parmesan cheese and just tap it through like this. It'll fall right through. Then just get that ring mold out. Maybe clean it up a little with your finger. And that's gonna be our beautiful little Parmesan crisps size. And when you do this, just make sure to leave a couple inches in between so they don't stick together. Okay, now into a 325-degree oven for 15 minutes or until it's nice and lightly golden brown like that. Next incredible garnish. We're gonna bring some peanut oil up to 300 degrees and we're going straight in with prosciutto. And I'll explain to you why we're doing this in a second. For now, just enjoy the beauty that is deep fried prosciutto. I learned this from my buddy Chef Authorized. He is incredible. Works at some of the best restaurants in the world. If you're interested in being an actual chef, I'll put a link to his channel in the description. He's incredible. He's got serious skills. Now, most of the time in restaurants, they're gonna bake this between 2 sheet pans, right? And so it's super flat. And while that works, you end up with a really hard prosciutto. And if it sits around for a few days, it's like break your tooth hard. And as you can see with this, it's like light, wispy, bubbly, super crunchy. This is just gonna be so much easier to chew on and eat and more enjoyable. Bubbly, crunchy fat. Oh, it's so freaking good. Okay, back to these pecans. And we're gonna fry these ones around 330 degrees. They're totally cooled down now. Just 2 minutes and 30 seconds here. Get them onto some paper towel. And this is really important. While they're still hot, hit them with some Maldon salt, right? Some flaky sea salt. Let me squeeze off one more quick garnish. Just one more. No, I'm gonna do it anyway. It's okay, this one's easy. Just some whole Brussels sprout leaves. I picked off a couple Brussels sprouts. Deep fry those things until golden brown. Hit them with a little salt, and that is so freaking good, seriously. All right, last thing, we finish the sprouts. Really wanna control the color on these this time. So I'm gonna cook them in a pan. Also, I don't want everything to taste like peanuts, so olive oil, quite a bit. Once that's got some light smoke coming off, and now this might take a second, but it's worth it. Come in here and flip them all so they're flesh side down. And you know, it'll only take a sec. Just be careful. And I would not recommend salting these. Here's why. There's already salt in the water. All of our garnishes are salted. Our Parmesan literally is salt, so is the prosciutto. The nuts are salted as well as the sprout leaves. And what we can do here is just pick it up. That is what we're going for. Okay, those have been cooking for about 5 minutes. I'll just poke a couple. The knife is easily going in. Means they're fork tender. Let's serve. And I like that these backs are still a little bit green right now. All right, the time has come. Let's plate or wood or whatever. You guys, I'm going big with this one. I hope this just inspires you to cook. Not like you have to do all of these things. You could do one of them, it would still be amazing, right? All right, let's start with our sprouts, and we're gonna kind of alternate here. Seared side and back side. Well, I think it's safe to say the fridge is absolutely I'm going for the full experience. I'm tailoring this bite. Parmesan crisp, prosciutto, candied pecan. That is a Beethoven-level symphony of textures! God, wow! Oh, everything's so crispy. Oh God. I hope you'll give these a shot, my sweet friends, and until next time, you know I love you and I'm out!